Hello and welcome back to Grim Survival, September 24th, 2019. I know that because yesterday was September 23rd, which was the first day of fall or autumn, depending on what part of the world you live in. My favorite time of year. I like it when the trees start changing colors, which they already have. And according to people in the Northeast, this particular day should have been a couple weeks ago because they've been seeing it for a while. But I have seen trees changing colors. I've seen reds, orange, yellows all along the highway. And it's just barely starting. I mean, you can only see it a little bit, but it's there. And yeah, when you look at some of the corn, you can compare. Colored trees usually means all the corn is browning or pretty brown, but not all of it is in my area. And this is due to the fact that it was planted late. So, but that's not the point of the video today. We're going to talk about a video I watched and blind obedience and that fun stuff. But first, fuel prices. This is what's left of one of my fuel receipts. I don't need this, so I cut it to just get rid of information that you don't need. This is well, if you can see it, it looks backwards to me. But anyway, I'll read it to you. Price per gallon, $3.14 for diesel. And this was the same price per gallon all month and most of last month. It hasn't gone up. It really hasn't. And I haven't seen an increase in about a month. Now, gasoline fluctuates more than diesel. And we do have contracts with them that make our prices a little bit lower than average. But they would still fluctuate with changing prices. So the price has not changed. We'll keep watching it because, you know, I have to fuel every day. I tend to put between 60 and 70 gallons of fuel in my truck every day. This guy's backing next to me. I hope he doesn't hit my truck. Anyway, yeah, I put between 60 and 70 gallons every day, which runs roughly $200, so we'll just watch. It might go up. Anyway, blind obedience. I've tried to make this video a couple of times. I really have. It was probably about a month ago, but last time I tried to make it, it ends up being a cynical video of me being judgmental, and I shouldn't be, so I don't ever post it. So I'm going to try again, mainly because someone sent me a video that they thought was hilarious. And I'm not going to share that video with you because there's just no point to it. But Boston25news.com is where this is. This story came out of Winchester, Massachusetts. It's in the Boston area, of course. Apparently 5 days ago in the particular town of Winchester, people were going around hanging signs. It wasn't a really sign. It was a printed piece of paper. Somebody printed on their home printer. And all it said was, "Islam is right about women." That's all it said. So you can imagine the stupidity that came from this, because, yeah, it just gets dumber from here. First off, Islam is right about women. What does that mean? Because I don't know. I don't know much about Islam, and I don't really care. So if you could tell me if you want. I don't care. My understanding is it's a religion. And according to most people, they believe that they hate women, but they just believe that women have a certain place in most cultures. And that also, you know, depends on Islam and where it is, you know, because certain countries, and yeah, we just won't go there. So that's not the point, though. The point isn't what does Islam is right about women mean. I'm not. If you want to watch a video about that, go for it. My point is these people, and here, just so you know, I'm not crazy. There it is. You can see it, the website and all. These people, these women that seen the sign. Now, they were hanging it on like street signs, like a sign outside of a school, like out in their yard, putting it random places. They were just taping it onto places. It was random. It was just, you know, it was dumb. It was dumb. But then it got worse because these women started ripping them down, getting irate about it, going to the local police department, calling the local police, and submitting these papers like it was some sort of crime. Let's just, for 1 second, just for 1 second, take a pause here, and let's talk about the First Amendment right. The right to free speech, to assemble, freedom of religion, any religion. Now, when the country was founded, they said freedom of religion. It didn't say free to be whatever type of Christian you wanted to be. It said freedom for all religions, no matter what you want to be. And as a Christian, I have no right to judge whatever they want to do. I just don't have to follow it, agree with it, or talk about it whatsoever. I could ignore it. I could go, you know, and be one of those crazy people and go slap them in the back of the head with a Bible and tell them they need some Jesus, but, you know, we won't be doing that because, frankly, it's illegal. It's too bad I had a grandmother, I believe it was great-grandmother, used to do that. She had those one of those big, thick Bibles, you know, the big, thick Bibles, hardcover, probably was about, the size of a door, and she used to biff people in the back of the head with it and say, you need some Jesus, mostly kids when they were misbehaving. But anyway, that's not the point. Point is that these women, and they're just getting irate because of the sign. It's stupid. It's just stupid. And it just reminded me of just the ignorance and the blind obedience and just the things that trigger people and set them off. It's so easy to do. People that would just, and these are the same people that would get on the bus. I mean, yeah, if you don't know what get on the bus, I believe Franklin Horton, I believe it was his book, the first one, you had the option at some point in the book to get on the FEMA bus and go to safety where they had food and water and shelter and showers. As long as you turned over everything you had, including any weapons, pocket knives, I don't know, flashlights, whatever you had to turn it over before you went on the bus. And preppers like to say, don't get on the bus. That's one of the reasons. Because it's a typical thing that in any kind of natural disaster, FEMA sends in the buses to get people out of there. Don't get on the bus. So, the Milgram experiments. This is what it reminded me of. It really did. The Milgram experiments. This is Wiki. There you go. Wiki. Milgram experiments. Stanley Milgram. It was in the 60s. He conducted an experiment. And I will tell you about the experiment in a minute if you don't know. But the purpose of the experiment was to test the obedience to authority. And the reason he did it was because of the Nazis, the prisoners that they had captured from, the upper-ranking Nazis they captured after the war, were telling them, for the atrocities they committed, they were just following orders. They murdered hundreds of women because they were just following orders, right? So he did this experiment. And in the experiment, there were 3 participants. One person was a person of authority, a scientist or a government official, whatever he was, I don't exactly know. One person was an actor, and one person was a test subject. The actor, was paid to act like he was in pain. The test subject, he was told to ask the actor several questions, one question at a time, of course, and every time the actor failed the question, the test subject had to shock the actor with a device that was sitting, in front of him. And it would supposedly administer an electric shock to the actor, and the actor would, seem like he was in pain. Now, the actor wasn't in the same room as the test subject. It was, audio only. Anyway, point being, the level of electricity that he had to administer increased throughout the experiment to the point that it was lethal. And a lot of people, the majority of them, killed the actor. Not literally, but yeah. If it was real, he would have died. A lot of people, the majority of them, actually. And, of course, it says they did it reluctantly, but they still did it. And these are the same kind of people that you're really going to have to worry about in an SHTF situation. Blind obedience to anyone. The Negans out there. We talked about the Negans before. People that come out of the woodwork to be in charge because they want to be. The used car salesman that sold you the car that the engine fell out of a week later. He now thinks he's in control of your town, and he now is in control of your town because he had a couple of really big guns, a couple of friends that followed him around, a little bit of extra food that he gave a few more extra friends, and now they're in charge because nobody has the ability to stand up and say, no, you're not. So, dictatorship. We talked about that before. Blind obedience. Now, this is where the problem comes in. It's not that people just don't have a choice. A lot of people are just going to believe them, that they're in charge. They're just going to believe it. They're just going to believe the person in authority. And this person's going to ask them to do things that they wouldn't normally do. And in a situation where the moral levels change, because the morality of a person varies depending on its situation, his or her situation. And what's going to happen is, in these types of situation, the morality level is going to be a lot lower. So people are going to be willing to do a lot more bad things, I guess, is the nicest way to put it. Bad things to, appease the person in authority, to get whatever it is they are offering. Security, safety, food, water, shelter, whatever it is they're offering. And these are the same type of people that are not prepared. They have no preps. They don't believe in prepping. They think we're all crazy, but we probably are. We don't care what they think, though. But anyway, they're going to do it. They're just going to obey. They're going to this person's going to tell them to go into that house and kill those kids and take all the food out of there. And if you don't do it, then you can't be a part of my group. They're going to go kill the kids. Not everybody. Of course, not everybody's going to do this. I'm not going to do it. I hope. I hope you're not going to do it. But people will. People will. And you got to account for the millions and millions of people that are in our country, and the billions that are on this planet. I mean, the larger the number of people in a crowd, the lower the IQ. This has been an experiment. It is true. It has been conducted. It's a proven fact. So, on a global level, the more people we have on this planet, the dumber the overall IQ gets. And then you account for lower education, lowering passing grades, the outright stupidity that has run rampant throughout, well, not only our nation, but most of the world. People are just dumb. They really are. And you can see this wherever you go. And I'm probably going to offend a few people with this one, but I don't care, because the majority of people I consider that are probably off the hinges here, that don't have any grasp of reality, are any of the ones, and I could see it in how they drive, because that's all I do. I drive, so I compare everything to driving. And it's the people that have the university license plates or the university stickers on the back of their car. I graduated from whatever university. They're driving like an idiot, and they probably got, I hate Trump stickers on the back of their car because they believe in government, whatever. Just the point of, I see people that have been indoctrinated. That's what they are. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. So, as in comparing things to driving, another example of people just blindly obeying is traffic. Traffic, all the time, signs. You blindly obey every sign, a yield sign. You don't have to stop. You know that, right? You can keep going if nobody's coming. A four-way intersection with a stop sign in the middle of the night where you can clearly see a mile in every direction. You gonna stop? I mean, you should, because that's the law, but are you going to stop? You wouldn't believe how many people will stop. And how many, there's quite a few of us that wouldn't, but yeah. It depends on what you're driving to. If I was driving this thing, yeah, I'm going to at least come to a very slow speed before I cross the intersection. Anyway, yeah, before the DOT comes and takes my license away, I won't be in this truck anymore, so I'm just going to keep talking. It's not like they're paying attention to me anyway. If they were, I'd have been, thrown out of this truck a long time ago. So, yeah, blind obedience is a problem that we're going to see in SHTF. We see it in everyday things now. And it's uneducation. It really is. It comes to a matter of not being aware. If you're not aware, then you don't know. And if you're not aware that there's a psychological condition that says if that police officer tells you to kill those people over there because they're hurting somebody, you should probably do it. No, you probably shouldn't, because no. And there's like 1,000 different reasons on that particular scenario why you definitely should not do it. So, blind obedience. If somebody in authority tells a group of people to do something, and it usually is a group, typically that group of people is going to do it. It's only going to take one. It's the one kid, in the class that volunteers to do the one thing, and then suddenly 10 more. There's always the leader of a pack. There's always somebody in charge. There's always somebody willing to follow. It's the followers that will be the problem, because if the people in charge are taking over and they're not good people, they're still followers. And now you can't do anything about it if you're not one of the followers, because all the lemmings follow them off the cliff. They did. I mean, they will. They really will. They'll get on the buses. They'll come back. They'll take your food. Whatever they tell them to do, they'll do it. They'll obey. They really will. They do it right now. A big problem I see with obedience is ex-military members. Ex-military. I know several of these guys, and they admit it. They have a problem with, just stepping away from something they think they're supposed to do. It's conditioning. It's conditioning. You can condition people in all types of ways, and I could go on this subject for days about conditioning. You can condition a brain to think anything, to feel things. You can condition somebody to not feel pain. You can condition them to feel other things other than pain when you're doing something that should cause pain. I mean, there's so many studies, and it's so easy to get a group of people to follow you. It really is, especially if they're desperate, scared, hungry. They'll obey the first person who offers them safety and shelter and food, water, whatever it is. Whatever it is they think they need at that particular moment, whoever is the first one to offer, that's who they will follow. It's grim. It really is. But hey, I was reading something the other day that said, in order to get more subscribers to my channel, I have to tell people to subscribe. So I figured I'd make a video about lemmings and blind obedience and all that, and then tell you to subscribe at the end, because I think that is entertaining and funny. Yeah, I do. Anyway, that's all for today. So, stay alive, don't die. Remember, subscribe. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, hit the bell icon in case you want to hear annoying, obnoxious notifications every time I post a video. Hey, why not? It'd be fun.